All right, to talk more on these issues with regards to security, with us in the studio is security consultant Oladende Ario. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence.
And also joining us is Captain Aliyu Umar Babangida, retired security expert and CEO Goldwater River Sand Consult. Good morning.
Good
Happy
morning.
Independence.
Nice to see you.
It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great.
All right, so 60 years of Nigeria's independence. I'm certain you listened to the president's speech, and he touched on the issue of insecurity, how the government is committed to dealing with these issues. And he also mentioned the fact that Nigerians are also very key. Their support is key to government's effort at tackling these issues. Nigeria has been, trying to deal with issues of insecurity since 2009. When you look at our efforts and our journey, talk to us how much of a threat this is, because from what our reporter has shown in his report, this is seemingly a threat to our unity, and this time around we are celebrating togetherness at 60.
Yes, at 60 indeed. In the last 2 weeks, I have read 59 Independence Day speeches. I was able to dig out the first one by Tafawa Balewa, the second one like that. And I think 11 speeches predated me. I came on the 12th one into this world. So
Right.
I haven't listened to what the president said today. It's beginning to sound like that prayer Catholics call a liturgy. There's this prayer Catholics call a liturgy, when the pastor will say something and everybody will respond in chorus. So Independence Day speeches in Nigeria are just all righteousness observed, a ritual. And what the 59 of them, including the 60th one today, have in common is we keep being told to have hope. Having hope, but nobody tells us how to have hope. So it's just, you can call it, it's just a ceremony. What is on ground in the last 60 years, or from when I came on board in 71, it doesn't look like there is hope. Very
Why do you say
seriously.
so?
Very seriously. As we speak right now, two things are key, security-wise. The first one is our threats are becoming bolder. Bolder.
You mean things that threaten security?
Yes, the things that threaten your existence is becoming very dangerous now to be a Nigerian, because the threats are becoming bolder. So bold, they attacked a state governor, a sitting governor, twice within the space of 1 month. Now, in other climes, what you would have seen would have been a massive onslaught on every inch of Borno State for having the audacity to attack a sitting governor. That's not the case. The second thing that is happening right now, which the authorities may not want to hear, but is true, is the Nigerian state and its institutions has lost reckoning. Reckoning in the eyes of our peers, and reckoning in the eyes of these riffraffs and rascals. So much so this reckoning has been eroded that they now attack sitting governors. So how bolder can they become is left to be seen. But if you observe, I have said it for the past 2-3 years, that these threats are becoming bolder. They're getting more daring, and the reason is simple. There is a nil consequences approach to handling them from our government. So when they do something, nothing comes out of that, they get bolder. Today they're not killing generals anymore. They are going after governors. God knows whom they will go after tomorrow. And if that happens, the indicator directly for you is the state has lost its reckoning before these people.
All right. We'll come back to this to understand this, to get deeper into the issue of that reckoning and how to get it back. Now, Oladin, let me come to you on this. We remember around the First Republic, in fact, the president started his speech from there, when he was talking about Tafawa Balewa receiving the instruments of government and all of the hopes and optimism and all of that.
Which we shared last Tuesday.
Exactly, we talked about this. And as far as the African continent was concerned, we saw the place of Nigeria when it comes to, no, I can't take that, no, I can't take, and giving advice, giving assistance. We remember Liberia, we remember Sierra Leone, we remember Congo, we remember ECOMOG, we remember even Gambia in recent times, we remember Sao Tome and Principe and all of those. What do you think is the bigger challenge here? Because the issue is, when it comes to professionals, Nigerians still remain those professionals anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
But when they come back home, there's always something, challenge. Where do you think that challenge lies?
Right. You recall that I mentioned that the first military coup derailed the ship of our progress. And what that did was to bring into power and authority people who were visionless, who didn't know what to do with power, who just got into power and then started misbehaving.
Was that where we got it wrong?
What they were giving us wasn't development. But because in the face of nothing, we still felt as that stupid saying that they say, have bread, is better than none. Why must we deserve have bread? By the time Nigeria became independent, the vision was pan-Africa, not pan-Nigeria. Yeah. I remember that from the speech I had, Tafawa Balewa at the United Nations, when we were being admitted,
right,
he said Nigeria is poised to assist other nations to achieve responsible democracy. I'd never heard it before, but he used that word, and it was deliberate. So for a country, for people at that level, start-off point, to have that kind of vision should tell you that they knew what they were doing. These were the same people that fought for independence anyway, and then things started rolling. The coup came, and then there was a disruption. The military that was not trained to manage civil resources took over power, and everything became with immediate alacrity. Obey the last order. Things are not, democracy or civil administration were not designed to run on that platform. And that same mentality has continued with us till today. But you see, it became an issue because in the midst of all of this, the startup fathers of Nigeria, Awolowo, Zik and all of them, they were developing their regions at their different paces. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, the military came and brought in unitary government. So we had a central command whereby everything comes from the top and percolates down. So whatever evil is at the top goes all the way down through the states, the local governments. By the time we now say, okay, let's experiment with democracy, the first one was truncated, and another one, and we are here in the Fourth Republic. You want to ask yourself, how well have we fared in the Fourth Republic? Let anybody genuinely come and tell me that his life today is better than it was in 1999. Except you are involved with some misdemeanor or illicit or fraudulent activities. Because we have become so terrible that Nigeria now is the poster boy in the world when they talk about 419, talk about terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and all of that. Somehow, the words like hoodlums, they were very far and distant in my lexicon. Suddenly, they now become the everyday word that we use. Now, imagine the humongous portion of our resources that has been deployed to combating Boko Haram. Yet, while the government is making us to believe that they have been annihilated, technically defeated, they are reflecting stronger outing, successful outing against us. It was at the height of it, seeing a state governor, a sitting governor, lying down on raw tar with bullets flying across where he was, over his head. It couldn't have been any worse than that. When we talk of our challenges getting bolder, I'm all for it. Unfortunately, the hope that you expect to see is not there. Let there be 10,000 speeches and more. The question is, at the end of the day, what do we get? When the chiefs are down, are we better off? And in the midst of all of this confusion, we can't grow, we can't develop. It doesn't work that way. I can tell you today, the rate of criminality here is so high, and it's impossible. You cannot progress when you are deploying a greater amount of your income to fight crime. No. Unfortunately, half of those in crime today, to be just modest, will not be criminals if they are gainfully engaged. But how will they? So much. Let me give you another bad example now, which I want to be happy today, but I can't think Nigeria and be happy. I don't have any country to call my own except this country. For me to start a barbering salon, ordinarily, I should go and buy a clipper. But in Nigerian environment, the first thing you buy is a generator. Well, because you have to power your clipper. That will tell you how misplaced things are here. Unfortunately, the same names that I crammed to pass civics in the 60s, my son crammed the same names, my grandchild is still cramming the same name. We need a fresh space. We need fresh people, new ideas. All of us, I was born into these things, and I grew today. I'm over 60. So my active years are gone. How do I go to my grave? What do I go and tell that the people who went before us?
Right.
What are we leaving behind? It's a nation in tatters.
All right. So it's all about the leadership and all of that.
Leadership and followership.
All right. Let's pick it up from there for you, Captain Babangida. Now, one thing he mentioned was that where we got it wrong, or where we missed it, was when we had the coups and counter coups and all of that. And because in 1960, it was projected that Nigeria will be one of the developed countries by year 2000. This is 20 years down the line, and the various issues and challenges security-wise has brought us thus far. Like he mentioned, we're at this level. At the point that we got it wrong, I mean, some persons feel that that military asserting, the coups and counter coups, shouldn't have been what could have derailed us.
Really, it's part of it. But let me put it to you this way so we can get it straight. Be it coups, counter coups, be it civil rule, just borrow my mind's eyes, look at it through my eyes. Let's assume Nigeria was a secondary school, and that secondary school was established in 1960. And that secondary school has had prefects, as we call them, prefects, head boy, head girl.
Right.
Yeah. And for the past 60 years, those prefects were to come together today, the old prefects association of this secondary school called Nigeria. In my crazy head, I discovered that all of them will be the same age. So what exactly is the definition of stagnation? When from 1960 to date, all the prefects are peers.
Right.
So how do you really define stagnation? So be it military, civilian, or whatever. The problem we've had is a generational stagnation. Here's a 60-year-old house that is actually due for renovation, whichever way you look at it. And nobody seems to want to renovate it because those who are at the helm of affairs have been the same people who were at the helm of affairs. Some of them even predated the country itself. So can anyone define stagnation for me? That's just it.
So invariably what you're saying is we could have picked up.
We could have picked up if the prefects were graduating for the younger ones to come up.
Take over.
In fact, what you are seeing in the army today is just a microcosm of what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
Where SS3 doesn't graduate, but somehow SS1 to 5 graduate. So SS3 has been staying put since 1960, and probably in the armed forces too, SS3 has been staying put now for the past so many years. Can someone define stagnation in any other way for me?
Well,
Mike,
I guess that's the definition by itself.
Mike, I'll
Yes.
give you an example.
Okay.
But you look at the American democracy, time in, time out, new people emerge. Obama came from nowhere. He's been preparing himself at the background until he was a senator and all of that. And then he came to the fore when he read the speech at the Congress, which caught the whole world shaking. He became the president, played his own role, and he left. Not in Nigeria. Today, Obama has no political office he's holding. He's done and he's gone. But here, I will be council chairman, go to the House of Assembly and become speaker, go and become a senator, become a minister, become governor, and then go back to the Senate. That's what is defined as stagnation.
A recycling
Because
of
it's recycling of people. And when you talk, a friend once described me as international terrorist. And I said, look, when we say these things are not right, we offer alternatives. It doesn't have to be like that. There are Nigerians doing so well outside of this country that when you bring them here, the system sucks them in, and then every effort is made to destroy them. For as long as we continue this way, we cannot progress. Let it not happen that one day very soon, a governor's convoy will be attacked and the governor will be kidnapped. And that will be it for us. We've been saying these things that we need to rejig the entire thing. The architecture is not working as in security. If you go the the governor was begging that he wanted to enter Baga, and he was sure, according to him, that there were only 8 Boko Haram people there. But the commander was telling him, no, you cannot enter that place. You want to ask yourself, why? And we still say we have a state within the same national context. You see, these are things that we must address. We've been calling for the removal of those at the helm of affairs of our armed forces.
But the president thinks otherwise.
He thinks otherwise, but the point is it all only about him? It's a case of primus inter pares. It's not more Nigerian than me, than you, and every one of us. We are all joint stakeholders in the country Nigeria. We elected him to represent us. We elected him to project and protect our interests. And when we say...
Oladende, is it the individuals or the template itself? Because the point there
when we say template, Nigeria is not existing in isolation. We exist among other nations.
Okay.
All right.
You see,
Let's
manage the time so that Babangida will...
talking about service chiefs,
Yes.
I see it differently.
All right.
And it's simple. It takes you at the very least 25 years to become a general in our armed forces. And that is if you are very lucky, all things being equal. Now, having done something for 25 years, it simply means you know what you're doing. You know your onions. To have scaled the hurdles all the way up 25 years minimum. Now, if I was the president, and that's what I expect of my president, I'm not going to tell my service chiefs what to do. I'm going to tell you where I'm going and how can you drive my successes. What do you want to do for me? I have a plate, a table of problems. Which ones can you solve? How long will it take you to solve it? What resources will you require to solve it? Having given me your estimates, I give you a 2 or 5% markup on those estimates, and I hold you to your timelines. Remember, you wrote your scripts, Mr. General. You told me what you could do. You told me when you could do it. You told me when you could do it. You told me how much is required, and I gave you a 5% markup on whatever it is required. At the end of the day, after the timelines, if you are not there, I've got to cut you loose. So the problem is, has our president a direction? Is he going somewhere? And has he a timeline? And are his generals driving his successes? Vis-a-vis what we're seeing, yes, he seems to be satisfied, even though what we're seeing on ground is not satisfactory. So I won't put the service chiefs on the spot and say they haven't gone home. Okay. Why would they go home if the man for whom they are working says, stay put? Let me tell you something.
They have to obey the last command.
The president has the prerogative of assigning whoever as his service chief for however long. And 200 million Nigerians also gave him that prerogative through the mandate. So his mandators count. If your mandators are questioning your mandate to keep your service chiefs, then I think as a president, you should weigh your odds and know exactly what to do.
All right, just in one minute now, Babangida, let me start with you. Going forward, because where we are right now, Nigerians are still dying, especially when we talk about the issues in the northeast, banditry, kidnapping and stuff and all of that. What is the way forward here, just in 1 minute?
In 1 minute, as I have always said in the past, the way forward is results. At all levels, be it at the local government, wherever, it's results. Results, if you don't deliver, sorry, someone has to. We have a country to run here, for God's sakes. If your local government and your family house has to produce the minister because of quota system, I have no problem with that. But I'm sure before we go through 10 sons in your house, we'll bring the one that will give us results.
Absolutely.
No dead weightism, no putting of any dead weights or any, no, we don't have time for that now at 60.
All right, let's get your view quickly.
Okay, you talked about results, and I talk about resolve.
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 Oh, okay.
All right.
For all I
That's
care,
the will.
For all I care, leadership in Nigeria has not resolved to move us forward. Followership in Nigeria have not resolved to challenge leadership.
Right.
Oh yes, because the followers keep serving the leaders, whereas the government should serve the people.
What kind of challenge are you talking about here? Because Nigerians have been speaking.
When you say they have been speaking, is there a follow-up to the speaking? Some of us make it, you know, it's not easy to wake up at 5 a.m. to be here for this program. That's sacrifice on my side. At every point, are we ready to make sacrifice? In Edo State, they had over 2 million registered voters. Ultimately, how many people voted to elect their governor? Resolve.
About
we have
half a
to
million.
resolve to move Nigeria forward.
Absolutely. We must thank you, gentlemen. Olade Ndiario, Captain Aliu Umar Babangida, thank you so much for your time on the program
Thank you
this
very
morning.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.